Ladies and gentlemen, Tower of Fantasy Global Server had been released for almost a month. With the new version 1.5 update will come next week, bringing new zone to explore, and character or weapon to gacha. Tower of Fantasy is quite well received in its global initial release, so how about now? Here's my impression and a short review of this game. It won't be an in-depth review, but let's see if this can makes you interested. First of all, Tower of Fantasy is an MMORPG game. The game genre that is quite famous to take the heavy amount of your idle time. I must say, Tower of Fantasy is quite different than most MMO that I've ever played. Perhaps the most different experience that I feel is the exploration of the game map. The game features an open world map, with flexible way for you to explore it, by either using various vehicles to help you navigating, and relics that also used for exploring, helping in combat, or help solving challenges. The current map isn't really vast, but there will be new zone and even new planet in the upcoming updates. And there's some good spot in the map where you can chill. Like this Cetus Island, if you go here at a certain time, there will be fireworks show, and the game will automatically play a beautiful song. Now about the combat mechanic of this game. The game doesn't feature a class lock like in Black Desert, Dragon Nest etc. You can choose up to 3 weapons that you want to equip and use, and can freely swap it with other weapons that you have. Each weapon has their own combo, abilities and element. Also, the game feature a perfect dodge mechanic that will instantly charge your weapons to deal a powerful discharge skill, and stopping enemies in a certain radius, which makes the game more complex. And if you are wondering, weapons is pretty much the main thing to gacha in this game, and characters that you get from obtaining the weapons from gacha is 99% appearance only, but you can unlock the character trait that will give you some helpful buff. The combat might seem simple at first, but in later content, you will need to understand more on how to use your weapons effectively. From charging the weapons, shattering enemies' shield, and when to do the DPS. Most of the game modes will require you to play with other players. And while some early content can be done by literally spamming attacks, the later content like high-level joint operation or frontier clash require a better team play, where everyone needs to work depending on their designated role. Either that as a main DPS, support by giving heal or other utility, and tanker that mainly will be targeted by enemy and must good at doing perfect dodge. And in PvP, understanding your weapons and relics also determine the battle outcome. Now about the story of this game. Honestly, Tower of Fantasy isn't really for you if you're looking for a story-driven game. The lore is actually pretty interesting, and the story plot is consistent so far. But the way the game deliver the story to the players isn't really the best. The story feel very rushed. We can meet new characters pretty often, but the game hardly make any character memorable. Hell, even Shirley and her story doesn't really impress me. Well, I hope they will step up their game regarding the story, especially to give more hype to upcoming characters, so that people wanted to gacha for them not just because of their usefulness, but they also find the character story or personality interesting. For the activity you can do in this game, the game have a lots of game content from dailies and weekly stuff. And world boss is something that I love to do, even if I don't have any chess ticket left. There is a tower mode, arena, and other team combat game mode. And without a doubt, upcoming updates will bring more gameplay content to keep the players entertained. Tower of Fantasy also feature an energy system that will be consumed if you play in game mode in this tab, where you can get SSR equipment and upgrade materials. The other one is pretty much a weekly reset game modes. that doesn't consume energy, but gives you a chance to obtain SSR or other important item. There's plenty of content that you can do each day, and I don't think it will be much of a burden to your IRL stuff. And about this game, whether it is F2P friendly or not. With how the game design, where pretty much the only thing to gacha is the weapon, while other things like SSR equipment can be obtained by other means, although the chances are quite low. So I can say, this game is free to play friendly. Just don't hope much, like obtaining every SSR weapon and matrices without Holy Wallet. Because while obtaining gacha currency is pretty easy in early game, in the end game, the free source of gacha currency, this dark crystal, is pretty scarce. Not to mention this game gacha banner have a pretty low rate. But at least there is a guaranteed to obtain an SSR item. For an F2P, I think it's almost impossible to get the guaranteed in a limited banner. So you either pray for your luck, or skip a banner or two until your dark crystal can get you to a guarantee SSR. Okay, that concluded some of my impression regarding this game. And you should try it and judge the game by yourself. But for me, Tower of Fantasy is a good game to try, and perhaps become a long-term MMO game to play. That should be all. Adios.